again. They're in their gyms, they're in the parks playing, they're in their high school summer league games, and they did some traveling so that they could see how they were instead of this world they're in now where the kids are playing. I'll have an open gym, and a kid will not know whether he should lift weights and go in the gym and work on his skills because he might have a game someplace that's going to be one of 10 that's going to be played that weekend. It's out of whack.
Coach, when I look at all the great high school coaches out there, their ability to give and give and give until their tank is empty, and to recharge the tank and get back and do the same thing again when you have the 79, 80-year-old guy who's at the high school level still out there coaching. It's amazing to me how you guys can refuel your tank, but
Right.
also it's amazing to me is how much you give. In this day of society where it's all about me, I. You guys are all about give, and what a role model you're playing for these kids and what you're doing. I mean, it's an incredible mission that we're so respectful of, and I'm respectful of what Gary does with kids, because let's face it, I'm in a different world. But my hat's just off to the entire profession, and for all these high school coaches out there to know what an incredibly important mission they have, because if they change one kid's life, what a
Absolutely.
multiplier effect it has on society. It's very interesting when you look at each one of these kids. When Bobby Knight said, when I coach a kid, that next kid I coach, he could be president of the United States. Now, I went to college with Barack Obama. And, you're in a situation here where we have a president who likes basketball. His brother-in-law is a basketball coach. I mean, if you went out to dinner with Barack Obama tonight, knowing what's going on out there with the inner city kid and whatever, what would you tell Barack?
Well, I think, I know there's budgetary problems right now because the economy is such a disaster. But to see all the money that we're having to sink into the business world, and we're making cutbacks in education. I look at budgets. His budget is taking a beating right now. We're looking at the stream of money that's coming back in charitable contributions is drying up rapidly, and this is our future. If you don't, and I know he understands this, but he's got, there's things that he has to try to battle right now. You can't let the cities right now. You can't let the cities let what's going happen, the deterioration, accelerate, because all of a sudden you're losing programs that are saving the ones that you can save. When kids now are less apt to go to some place to do something, and they're more apt to just wear something because it's a certain color, and join something because it's got bling to it, we're in trouble. And if we don't right the ship, if we don't right the ship, the cities are going to continue to crumble, because the inner cities are the issues right now. Because what happens in the inner city, it expands out through the city, because these are your people that have grown up, the ethnic groups that came here to the country, that moved to the inner cities, and they fought their way up through education. And there's got to be those opportunities for people so that they don't feel like they don't have a chance, and the only chance they have is to become gang affiliated, which is becoming, I never thought it would, and we've talked about this decades ago, that we never thought it was going to happen here, that there was some neighborhood influences called posses, and I never thought the posses would get to the point that they've reached. But in projects now, he's lost whole buildings in the city where kids used to come out of there and be tough kids and they'd want to be athletes. And now the entire buildings, their values and everything are completely gone. Now, we got to get back, whether it's right after early childhood, that you got to get in and we got to start doing stuff with them so that there's some control. Because, you multiply this by every urban area, and you know how many people you're losing.
But it's also changing the value system as well. Like you're saying, you're saying it's not just funding; it's the value system itself, where the society of bling, this whole commercialism and materialism that the world is focused on. Videos and everything that's happened since then.
Yep. Nothing has any substance. It's sizzle, not substance right now. And that's what it's kids. It's going to appeal to kids because they don't know any better. They don't realize that there isn't any, there isn't a future in certain areas. Like, we all know that the drug dealer on the street is ultimately going to get arrested and he's going to go away. And that's a reality. They know that. That's the price they pay because they gave in earlier in life. They made some decisions early that they weren't going to go the standard route. They weren't going to go education and hard work. And, you know, the American dream wasn't going to happen for them. They were going to shortcut it and they were going to go to that. So that's, you know, that's something that people have to understand, that that's a part of it. And, you know, going into areas where there is, you know, like for every kid who thinks he's going to be able to be a rap singer right now, you know, I mean, I couldn't tell you how many kids in school here, like write lyrics and think it's going to go. The percentages are that that's not going to go, just like trying to be a professional basketball player. I think 1 out of every 32,000 high school seniors is going to play in the NBA. And we haven't had one play in the league for a very long time. We've had a couple of great players that have graduated, I thought would play in the league, and circumstances, injuries and other things have occurred in their careers, and it hasn't happened. But one kid went to Georgetown, so his Georgetown degree he uses. Another kid went to Syracuse, so he's completing school, so he'll have a degree to fall back on. And we thought that maybe it'd be pro basketball, but it doesn't have to be. You know, basketball, you're going to put, you know, eventually you're going to put the ball to the side and you're going to do something. Maybe you wind up like me, where I could never really put it down. I put it down and then put a whistle around my neck. You know, but you're gonna, and many of the kids have stayed in coaching now because they just love, they've loved the experience with the ball, and the ball has given them a lot.
Coach, you've had an incredible relationship with the faculty here, where they've worked with you and they've bought into the same mission. I talk to a lot of coaches out there, and oftentimes the principals and the administration isn't supportive of what the coach's mission is, what he's doing. One, the comment to the faculties out there who might want to hear this, and also to the coach on how to deal with it. What advice would you give, one, the faculty and one, the coach in that situation?
Well, every time the faculty has a problem with a kid here, I am never going to be backing up the child. I am 100% for, I know them, I know these guys. So it's like I say all the time about this, the streets of Jersey City. If somebody gets arrested in Jersey City, they broke the law. The cops are not walking around looking for something to charge a guy with. So if a kid gets in trouble in school here, okay, they did something wrong. You know, you can exacerbate a situation. One of the kids recently brought a video game to class. Now, how do you justify that? Then when the teacher wanted to confiscate the video game, the teacher couldn't get the video game right away for the kid. So sent him to the disciplinarian, Todd Palmer. Todd now, he ultimately was suspended from school. I want to do more than that. Like, I want to take him in a room and punch his lights out. Because it's so stupid. They're here to get an education. It's a private school. People are scrambling to get the money together so that they can get an education. This is what they're going to make their living on. If a kid is behind in school, they're doing catch-up. These teachers are here making less than the public school teachers, but they're here because they want to be here, they're young, they're getting some experience right now, and they're all, I've never heard of a teacher here that wouldn't stay after school and help somebody that needs help. So if you're a poor foul shooter, what do? You try to carve some more time out to become a better foul shooter. If you have problems here in subjects, particularly either English or math, these two are, you're going to make your living on those two. You know, some of the other things, sometimes we got to get through science. I was not great in science, but when it comes to things here in school, I want them to be educated. As I said before, the ball is going to be put down shortly. And when the ball gets put down, what do you have? You know, can you rely on, can you rely on your family? Is there a family business? We haven't had too many of them here, not too many family businesses that the child can work in. So then you're going to be out on your own. What you do is how you're going to, earn your living. So, there's situations sometimes where I need to help the teacher. So if I find out that the kid is being disruptive in school, and the good thing we do here is that we have progress reports. Every 4 weeks, every subject of every kid I get. So if there's 50 kids playing basketball, after 4 weeks, halfway through the marking period, I know what every situation is with every kid. And what is it usually? Not handing homework in, maybe disruptive in class, they're not having class participation, maybe didn't do well in pop quizzes because they weren't ready, and then maybe they managed to do okay in the one test in the marking period. But these are all things that show this is sloppy behavior. And it's always translated to a kid that's sloppy at home, he's sloppy in school, he is not going to be Michael Jordan or Bill Bradley.